Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm Rebel Rivers,
Oh, what was the delay? And I'm Talita Dotson,
and
and
we
we're
are sis
sisters.
showing important support.
Absolutely. Please make sure you like, share, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube as showing important support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. It doesn't cost you anything. And again, just continue to like and share and follow us. I'm going to pull up a disclaimer. Okay, so our disclaimer are we're just two sisters not acting in the capacity of professionals. We're just sharing our views and our opinions. We had suffered from anxiety before, but anxiety leads to a lot of things, and so we've been talking about a lot of topics. So we're just talking about like coping techniques and things like that. This is not to be used for like any type of treatment or anything or diagnosis or anything like that. Having any issues, please seek out to your medical professional. If you are having where you want, feeling like you want to commit suicide, please put it in the chat, and one of our moderators will reach out to you.
Okay, so our dedication, as always. So we actually got, other than my mother, we have our grandparents here because we are talking today about generational curses. So here's a picture of my grandmother, and here's a picture of my grandfather. Then again, a picture of my mom, as always.
Okay, so we're gonna do a mental health check. So sis, how's your mental health check today?
My mental health capacity today is good.
Great.
Knowing I got 2 more days of work. Yay!
That's good.
How about yours, sis?
Mine's is great. I'm doing good. I'm in a good space, and that's great. So we want to know how are you guys' mental health check today. So if you can put it in the comments so that we could see, and we'll pull it up to so that we can display how yours are, and we hope that yours is matching ours.
Yes, let us know.
Moderators, are we okay with YouTube and before we move any further, YouTube and Facebook? Let us know, please. Waiting on your comments.
Anyone out there?
Right. Okay. YouTube is good. Thank you, Chuck. What about Facebook? D? I think D and Laquita, Facebook? No?
Anyone out there, let us know.
Make sure they're on. Make sure they can see it's okay. Give us 1 second. Okay. We just texting the moderators to make sure everything's going okay on their end. Make sure they can see everything. Okay, so Tash say yes. Okay, can you comment? Let us know. I want to make sure Facebook's okay. Okay. Shalisha say, my mental health is great. That's good to hear.
And Lisa says, hello, sis. Hi.
Hello.
Daughter-in-law.
Nisi Poo. And Deborah said, good evening.
Hi,
good evening
Deborah.
to you.
She says I'm good.
She says, I'm good. And I think Chuck said YouTube is good. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. We just wanted to make sure everybody was able to see. Anybody else want to tell us how your mental health check is doing today? Shalisha said mine is great. We already said hers already.
Elaine.
Elaine said, hello, ladies.
She says, I'm good.
I'm good. That's great to hear. Anybody else want to let us know before we move on? Um, look, we say good evening, everyone. Thank you. All right, so we got our mods on there. All right, so we can move forward now. So I'm gonna do an icebreaker. So as my sister mentioned earlier, in the program that we are doing on generational curse, this is something that everyone, Dee said her mental health is great as well. This is something that everybody been in our inbox about generational curse. It's gonna be a part two series, part one, part two, because this is a huge topic. And thing of it is that we want this to be interactive, so we're gonna allow you guys to come on our live as well. But just please remain respectful. Everybody have their own opinion and their own views. Because some people don't want to just type everything out, and then come on and say would be great. Again, everybody have their own opinion and views, and we respect that. So we're not arguing any points. We'll share our opinions and our views, and we want to hear yours. Because, like I said, this is a big topic that nobody really wants to talk about,
Right.
and so therefore, we want to remain respectful. One of the things that I was going to ask, and if any of the moderators could put it in the chat box. So I want your opinion. Do you think generational curse is a sin? So it's generational curse of sin. I could probably type it here and hear your opinion before we move on. A sin. All right. So the question I'm asking is generational curse of sin. What do you think? I'm giving your opinion. Anybody that want to answer? It's your opinion. Okay. Laquita say no. I think it's unintentional. Okay. Elaborate. What do you mean by unintentional? Deborah say no. Okay. Um,
Delisa says, "Do you believe generational curses are a sin? Please comment."
okay, she just posted it. She just put it in our chat.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, she put it in our chat. Thank you, D. Anybody want to comment or take or answer that question before I put up the next one? Okay, want to?
So Laquita, she didn't elaborate on that.
Oh no, I forgot. Maybe she's typing it. She said she thinks it's unintentional. Or she could be in between the feeding the baby. What you think?
That's right. We got a new cousin.
Shalisha said, "No, I believe devil's plan." Okay.
Elaine says, "Most certainly not."
Okay, Elaine said, "Most certainly not." Okay. So we got a lot of different opinions. Okay, so the next question, sister.
What are some positive or negative things that your family did, and was it passed on through your family?
So kind of what about can you put that in the question and comment again? Sit.
What are some positive or negative things that your family did, and it was passed on through the family?
Right. Whether it would be a positive or negative. So Quita said, I think people pass things that they learn and or adopt over time and may not realize it's damaging. Oh, congratulations, Queen. That's our moderator. Just had her baby boy.
Yes.
We do want to congratulate her. Thank you for D sharing that. But yeah, one of our moderators just had a beautiful baby boy, and we want to thank you and congratulate you. And she's on here, back on here helping. She's multitasking. So D is replying. Oh, she said thanks, Boo. Yeah, okay, right. So Quita saying thanks. So the next question was, again, so what are some things that you made, some positive or negative generational curses that may have happened along in your family that if you care to share with us? Can you think of anything?
Negative alcohol.
Alcohol, okay. Yeah. Can you think of anything else?
Well, yeah, we had cancer in our family, but that has been
That has been stopped.
exactly.
Absolutely. And they just put up the comment again. And then Chuck say, that's true. I had to break from having outside children. That's true. I had to break from having outside children. You have to elaborate on that one, brother.
What do you mean?
I
What do
know.
you
What are you
mean?
talking about now? Oh, okay. So, you stopped it. So basically, probably his parent, his father,
Oh,
whoever
okay,
had an
yeah,
outside kid,
right,
he let it stop with him.
exactly,
Okay, got you.
right.
All right, that's cool. I get it.
The same thing with that cancer that was running in our family. We broke that.
Right. Okay. The next question.
Are you breaking any generational curses? And if so, how are you doing it?
So, are you breaking any generational curses that have been passed on? And if so, how are you breaking the generational curses? Is the next question. Are you breaking any generational curses? And if you are, what are some of the generational curses you're breaking? And that's our last icebreaker question. We didn't even ask you, what are you breaking any generational curses?
Hmm.
What are you breaking?
The cancer that was running in our
Oh,
family.
okay. All right. Hey, I know
That's
that's it.
gone.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus'
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nobody wants to answer. Okay. All right. So we're going to move right along onto our slideshow now. Elaine said,
Having
having
more morals.
having more morals. Okay. Um, and then Chuck said,
Deborah says,
I had clicked on. Oh, was it Deborah? Okay.
teaching my own how dangerous it can be to your health.
Right. Yeah. We're drinking. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna go move on to our slideshow real fast. So again, this is gonna be an interactive live. We want you guys to come on and share your opinions and views on some of this, or either if you want to type it in the chat box, that's great as well. So, all right. So let's put this up here. And then we'll get back to some of your comments. Okay. All right. So everybody can see that. Okay. I want to take down. Let me before I do that. Let me take down these comments. uh, which one we're on? Was it who's that on, Elaine? All right, let me take down this comment so that we can hide it. Okay. Hello, Paula. How are you? All right. So now, okay. Now we're good. All right.
All right, so again, our topic is about generational curse.
All right. What is generational curse? All right. So I got to move the slide. All right. What is generational curse? As she said before. Okay. So generational curse are things that your ancestors did, or or practice, and they passed on to us, to you guys or us, whoever. And they could be also some of the sins were being passed on as well.
Okay, so according to the Bible, a generational curse is believed to be passed down from one generation to another due to rebellion against God.
Okay.
Okay, so in the Bible, there are 5 types of generational curses and their references. Okay, so the first one is talking about the curse of law, and you can find that in Deuteronomy 25:15. Okay, so the curse of law is brought about when one disobeys God's law. Those who follow God's commands are blessed. 2, the curse of God to man for disobedience. Genesis 3:13 through 19. The curse of God is the oldest curse on earth. And it came about shortly after creation when Satan deceived Adam and Eve into sinning. 3, the curse of idol worship, Exodus 23-5. The curse of idol worship strongly warns us against worshiping other gods because God is a jealous God. 4, the curse of man, Zechariah 5:4. The curse of man, this is an example of self-inflicted curse. A sinful person causes this curse. It triggers its triggers is devil evil deeds. I'm sorry, its trigger is evil deeds. 5, the curse of seed time, Galatians 6:7. The curse of seed time and harvest starts when a person sows a bad seed. Since life comprises sowing and reaping, we must sow the right seeds to reap the fruits. Every action, whether good or bad, sows a seed that will bring its harvest.
All right. So our next slide. So what are some generational curses? So I have drug, I have alcohol, and I have sex. I don't mean sex by sex. It's supposed to say sexual abuse.
Okay.
Because sex is okay. If you married and had, I mean,
Right.
yeah, y'all know already. Don't need to explain. Okay. Mental illness, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, all of those are generational curses passed on down through the family. And then believe it or not, these physical illness, like my sister mentioned early, cancer, hypertension, heart disease, all this is passed down through through generational curses. Our DNA is passed on down, down the line.
Right.
Also, mental and physical abuse. When you see someone being mental and physical abuse, it's probably because they saw it, they passed it on. And then poverty, we our debt and everything, all that's passed down through generational curse. And then other ones is abusive marriage. That's passed on. I mean, through that as well. So, the guy wasn't intending anybody to go through mental and physical abuse. It wasn't meant for that.
Right.
And so, because our parents and our elderlies, they stayed in it no matter what. Then it was passed down to us. So that's why we stayed. We stayed in it.
Not we per se.
Right. Okay. All right. So moving right along. So let's talk about patterns. So now this slide here kind of depicts like generational curses, like how you follow patterns. So you take a seamstress that sews, they follow a pattern. And so that's just the family follows a pattern as well, whatever the forefathers put out there. And therefore, you have the negativeness. Children are not born racist, okay? They're not born racist, okay? Alcoholics, you have the beating on the wives, and it should have said husbands too. And then I know one of the things I put in the express and transfer. So express and transfer is basically is how it's agreeing to what you transfer. So when we talk about pattern, we're just transferring things down to the next generation. I know one of the things that was a thing in our family was the kids ate first. So that's why I put that little thing on there. That was something. And then, the husbands come along, they were like, well, no, the husband's supposed to eat first. So it was like a bit,
Right.
but we were always taught kids eat first, but okay. So I'm gonna move it, right? All right.
Put my glasses on, see this. Okay, how are generation curses passed down? Generational curses are passed down through the action of our parents and our own experiences. They are passed down through story. Generational curses can be passed along with things we hear, see, experience. These are quite a few things that happen in families that we don't learn about until we are old enough to understand. Thinking back on how not knowing affected you. Now, the question is, do you follow your roots and do the same to generations to do generations that come? Or do you break the curse and find a way to create healthy family habits? There is nothing wrong with wanting to walk in the footsteps of those who you admire. However, you think about how far their journey got them and think about how far that will get you. Imitation is the best form of flattery. Being stagnant and not able to progress is not.
Absolutely. All right, so this slide here just depicts like how like the family tree basically. So you see how our grandparents is, our great grandparents is on the top line, and then our grandmother and grandfather, and then our mom and dad, and then next to us. So this is just how the curse is passed, and that's all this slide depicts. Okay, so there's a problem with generational curse when passed down from a parent to child, and so as a result of that, things that could happen is they could lack things, they could be in bondage, they can doubt, confusion, temptations. All of these things could be a result of us passing down something to the next generation.
Okay, Jeremiah 17:5 says, "Those said the Lord, curses the man who trusts in the man and makes the flesh his strength, whose heart turns away from the Lord."
Okay. So the next thing that how are generational curses harmful? Because some generation, curses, and you have some good generation. I mean, things, some good things can be passed on to the
Yes.
next generation. But then when you talk about curses, you can, pass on the curses. You want to pass on the positive. Um, so um, so basically generational some of the generational curses start with a story. So we always have a story to share with our children. That's something that happened in the family, and then what happens is they take that story and they share it with their children. I mean, and it could be a curse story, not necessarily a good story, you know what I mean? And
Right.
and therefore some of the stories that we pass on could be very harmful to the next generation. And this slide basically just talks about how people hold their stories near and dear to them, and they do. They share stories all the time to their hearts without thought. They walk the path of those stories, knowing that it could play out poorly. This practice is very harmful, and as it holds the person from learning and developing in their own. So they don't develop in their own way. They kind of go back to what was passed down to them.
What is the greatest curse in life? Fear is one of the most crippling emotions that we can experience as human beings, as it prevents us from taking healthy risks, pursuing our dreams, and changing unhealthy behaviors.
Mhm.
And that kind of brings us back to that anxiety.
Absolutely right. Yep.
Exodus 34:6-7. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness.
And just to piggyback, you had mentioned about the anxiety. So
Yes.
that could have been something that was passed. Well, that was something we know that was passed
Yeah,
down to us,
exactly.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
right,
right.
right.
It was passed down.
Exactly.
Okay, so this right here, I just want to give you guys just something that I want you to think about. We will revisit this once we're almost done with just the slideshow, and we want to revisit this, but just something to think about. So it's like, should we blame our parents for the generational curse because it was passed to us? At what point do you stop the cycle? Can you blame your parents the rest of your life for the generational curse? And at what age of accountability do you choose to continue the pattern, if you chose to continue the pattern? So basically, it's just basically saying that, okay, when does it stop? Can you continue it for a lifetime to always say that it's your parents' fault for you being the way that you are, or things being the way that you are? Like, when do you take ownership of that?
Yes. Okay, so what happens when we identify the generational curses? When we, as the body of Christ, discover that we have the right to live in free and decide to come out of agreement with the generational curses that we have been operating out of for years, we are able to answer our kingdom call. When we identify the generational curses, we can stand in the Lord's strength. He is the one who gives us victory. It is through him that we walk with authority on earth. Meditate on this verse. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise him, my Father God, and I will exalt him. That's in Exodus 15:2.
Okay.
Okay, so why you need to identify generational curses? The reason you want to identify generational curses is to remove the death and destruction that comes from them. The enemy lies telling us that generational curses aren't real. Satan does not want us to deal with them using God's authority, because when we deal with them, we receive peace of mind, the joy of the Lord, spiritual strength, prosperity, provision, and divine protection. Like me and my sister, we mentioned earlier about the anxiety. So my mother had anxiety, then I had anxiety, and then my sister had anxiety. And me and her both had a couple of our kids that had anxiety also. But that's canceled in Jesus' name. That it ends there.
Right. Absolutely. That is yours too.
Okay, so if generational curses are not canceled, like I just did just a few minutes ago, there is unnecessary to spiritual warfare. We do not have to battle such things: financial attacks, physical attacks, relationship issues, abuse and addiction, divorce, business breakup, and church splits. At some point, it has to end.
Absolutely. And this is just the end of this information. This just shows where this slide was provided from. Thank you, guys. Okay, let's go back up there. All right, we're back. All right, any comments? We're gonna go look at comments. Um uh Dee was responding to, I believe, a comment on Deborah, saying that this body and mind are so important. Great job educating. Okay. Dee also said, replying to Paula, hello, Paul. Hi, Paula. Okay. Are you breaking any generational curses? That was one of the questions. Um, and okay, let's see, go down. Um, Chuck said not being an alcoholic, and Deborah said laugh out loud. Um, Quita said definitely breaking the curse of mental illness. Absolutely. And speaking on that mental illness, and they had even showed it like on the news or whatever. It is so much mental illness that's going on out here. I mean, it is so much
Definitely, yes.
to that you wouldn't even believe. And then the young kids,
Yes.
13, 14. I mean, they're dealing with so much. I mean, mental
Yes.
illness. I mean, and it's mental illness is real.
And that's the reason I was telling you before that that's the reason why they built that building over where I work at, because it's definitely needed.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely needed, but it's like you see more and more kids. I know Cleveland Clinic had a segment about mental health and how they're seeing more and more cases of mental illness, and especially like I said in our younger generation, which is sad.
Very sad.
Um, good.
So Charles said, first generational curse. Adam was too weak to refuse the apple.
That's true, and that's why. Yeah, that's true. Um, and Tracy said that's true. Um, Dee said we were just saying that it's so sad. It is. It's real sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to go back to what I had mentioned earlier that I wanted to piggyback on. And what I wanted to piggyback on was it's right here. So, should we blame our parents for generational curse because it was passed on to us? What is your opinion on that when it comes down to that? Do you think it's something that we should be blaming our parents for? Um, Also, seminars are experience mental illness and loneliness. That's true. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
And thing of it is the person has to want help. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because if you don't want help, then but our question is, can we continue to blame our parents for, especially when what's the age of accountability, and can we continue to blame our parents for, generational curses? Now I'm going to share. I'm going to put our link on here, and if anybody wanted to come in, and that way you don't have to, if you don't want to type everything in, is that paste there? Yeah. Okay. So that's the link right there that you should be able to click on. So if you want to come on to our live, we welcome you. But again, um, if you want to come on, make sure you remain respectful and everybody have their own opinion.
Elaine said yes.
Elaine said yes, they are
They
Chuck.
are Chuck. Yeah.
Yes, they are Chuck. Okay. Yep.
And me and you, we never blame mom.
No, oh,
Never.
absolutely not. I mean, no, I mean, no, I didn't. You know, what I mean,
No.
I look at it as I know things are being passed on
Mm-hmm.
to us, and
Right.
um, but I think at some point you have the choice.
Yes.
You know what I mean, to whether you want to continue to do that or not. It's your choice,
Exactly.
especially when you become the age of accountability. You know what I mean, where you
Yes.
and I think age of accountability is when you know better.
Right.
When you know better, you do better. I cannot, you know, so our mom, back in the days,
Mm-hmm.
she smoked cigarettes
Mm-hmm.
and she drank her, she drank the beer back. This is like what, like many, many, many moons ago.
Yes.
But I can't continue. I can't sit and smoke cigarettes and drink a beer and say, "Well, I'm still doing this. I'm at the age of 50. How am I? 56, and say, "Well, it's my mom's fault." I mean, I mean, how could I?
Exactly.
How could I continue to say that that's my mom's fault because I did that?
Right.
I had a choice to whether I wanted to do it or not.
Yes.
Deborah said, "No, I couldn't blame my mom. Life curse.
Life
Oh,
caused a
life
lot
because
of their problems.
okay, life, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You live longer. You'll see. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
some just live long. Sometimes you have life problems and things like that. But again, I think generational curse, and then some curses are you talk about the churches
Right.
with the Catholic churches how they had the like the was it the Catholic Church where they had like the when they had the molestation of the kids and
Yeah.
things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they swept it under the rug.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
so it just went on from generational. Um, Deborah said,
I decided not to drink because seen what devastating effects happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the
Exactly.
thing. And a lot of time, that's how people, they say, "Well, I don't want to be like that." So
Exactly.
they
Right.
go a whole nother detour, and
Exactly.
that's what you're supposed to take it and take that negative
Right.
effect and flip it into a positive effect.
Exactly.
Laquita said, "Can you read it?"
Once you can identify the problem, it then becomes your own responsibility to make an effort to change it. Exactly. Yes.
And then Chuck says, Satan knows where to attack us, all because any curse
It's Satan
is
driven.
Satan driven. That's
Mm.
true.
Yep. Very true.
It's Satan driven, right? That's true. But again, like I said, but we have things passed down,
Yeah.
but you choose to take what you want to take from it. You know what
Right.
I mean? So if
And
you
then how
want to
you
take
overcome things,
right,
like
right,
we overcame this anxiety.
right. We was determined to overcome the
Exactly.
anxiety.
Yep.
And then now that a couple of our kids it was passed down too. But the good thing was when it was passed, we were able to
Yeah.
recognize and say,
Exactly.
stop,
Exactly.
stop. And then my sister and I is it's kind of funny because we had that eye. If we hear somebody talking and they get to sharing a story or whatever or something that happened to them, we
Immediately
immediately
knows what's going
know
on.
what's going on. We look at each other and say, "Uh-oh,
Yep.
you know what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an
Yep.
anxiety." And there's some, and there's some things, just that's through your DNA that you can't help but pass down. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So if you got like, a few bad genes with like hypertension and things like that,
Right.
but those things, but it's how you eating, you how what
Exactly.
remember those chitlins and things like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's how you continue to pass the high blood pressure everything down to your genes. Um, um, Oh, Tracy said replying to showing important support, awesome, helpful support groups. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. Thank you for that. Yeah. Anybody just want to share anything at all? We're here. We still got time. Like I said, our next show we're gonna talk about how to what
Breaking.
how to break it,
Mm-hmm.
like the given techniques. So when you guys come back next time, have some techniques in mind that you may have thought about that of ways that we can break this
Generational curse.
generational curse because it has to stop. So now, would you say generational curses in every family, like every like Indians, African Americans, Caucasians, or because I think people kind of think that it's in the African
African
American
American.
community.
No, it could be any family.
Could be any
Any
family.
family.
Yeah, so we're waiting for your opinions and views. And again, I'll put the link out there if you want to come on and because you do not want to
Never say all.
all because you don't want to type a
Absolutely.
lot. Yeah, it's I think it's in every family.
Yeah.
Everybody deals with it. Some yep, every family. Yep, every family deals with it. And I think that we tend to think that it's just the African American
No,
community that deal
absolutely
with
no.
it. Yeah. What about poverty? How do y'all feel about poverty? Do you feel as though poverty is passed down in the generation, or debt having into debt
Yeah.
passed on to generation? I know because I could
I mean,
even
it
say,
could be if you let it,
yeah, because like in the Caucasian
Hmm.
community, they were taught if they go charge something,
Hmm.
you pay it off the next, you pay it off right away.
Right.
You don't, you pay it off by the next month, so
Right.
that way you ain't incurring the interest charges.
Right.
In the black community, what was we taught? The African American, leave that right there on that card. You put the little minimum balance on there, you know what I mean, and you pay the
Exactly.
minimum balance
Right.
and keep it moving, right? um, yes,
Poverty
a poverty
mindset.
mindset. Yep, yep, a poverty mindset. Um, Krita say, I think bad behavior that leads to poverty and debt. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You definitely. I mean, yeah, it's definitely passed down. It's definitely passed down. Any other comments?
And again, like you said before, you can watch things as a little kid growing up and see things that that your parents might have did, and then when you get older, you say, "Oh, I ain't doing that." So
Right. No, because like in our growing up, we wasn't allowed to be in a room with adults, and they're talking,
right,
and we couldn't join in the talk because we were told, okay, you have to stay in the child's place,
right.
even though I mean it wasn't, it was
No,
just communicating, right?
pretty much.
Right. And so, all right, somebody's coming on. Let me see who it is. Wait a minute. Let me get rid of this. Give me 1 minute. Uh,
Chuck.
all right. All right. Mr. Lewis, you on.
No problem.
We listening.
And,
What you got
and
to
no,
say?
you just touched the nerve, so I had to come live. Okay,
Okay.
all right, because uh, uh, we can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we have black
What,
people.
let me make sure. Wait a minute. Can everybody hear him talking?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
because the nerve.
You say what?
No, you just touched the nerve because we always, as black people, get the label of anything. The majority of the things, no, majority of the things that's negative. All right, uh,
So why do you think is why do you think that's so?
because if you know history, there's more other people on welfare than black people.
hmm But why do you think that we're labeled?
You know the answer to that yourself. Okay, okay. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Okay, right. If I hear right, if I hear another one, we shall overcome. Okay, all right, all right. I'm just gonna jump out this window. Exactly. All right.
But we
We
shall
should have
overcome one
overcame.
day.
Okay, we should have overcame a long time ago. I'm sick of
We
hearing
don't
about we should
overcame.
have
How about that?
Right. We the overcame, right?
yeah. Hello. All right. Exactly. All right. Get
So,
up. Go to work. You know what? I admire black women because you guys are super strong. You super strong individuals because
Thank
you
you.
will work 2 or 3 jobs to make things happen.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
while
will.
you go to work and the brother's sitting at home playing the game. Okay,
Yes.
right.
Yep.
all right.
Exactly.
I'm sick of hearing about all of this. Okay, right. That's not generational. That's just a lazy brother. Okay, get up,
That's it.
find a
Exactly.
job.
Can't blame everything
Right.
on generation.
Right, and
Exactly.
that's good that you brought that out, Chuck, because you cannot blame everything on generation. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? You can't.
Exactly.
You cannot.
Exactly.
You cannot. You cannot. You're absolutely right. That you cannot.
I know.
but we
Right,
shall
exactly.
overcome.
And you know me, I'm being honest. Being honest. Okay, right, exactly.
Right,
All
right,
right.
right, right. Look, well, thanks for
Yeah,
thanks for.
I'm jumping out this window.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't,
Don't
no,
do
don't do
that.
that. Don't do that.
Elaine said yes, yes, yes. All right, Chuck.
Oh wait, well here, yeah, Elaine, yeah. You, let me see. Can you see Elaine? I mean, Elaine's comment. I'll bring it up. Can you see Elaine's comment? She said, "Yes, yes, yes. All right, Chuck. You
All
saying
right,
something?"
all right,
And
okay.
Tracy say, "Facts, but no, you got to leave when I leave. Facts, but now you got to leave when I leave." Wait a minute, Tracy. What's the leave part? Oh, he can't be staying at home. I know that's right. If I'm going out
Right.
working the job, you better go out and work with me, right?
Well,
Right.
you better be retired like my husband.
Because you know what, Darlene, I told Darlene when she was alive, I said, you know what? I said to Darlene when she was alive, I said, you know what? I think I'm tired of working. You know what she told me?
What?
She said, where you gonna live?
I know that's right.
Right. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yep, and and I think too that can that be some? He said, "I'm saying he got to go too." Tracy said,
Right.
"Okay,
I go, you go.
oh, yeah, right, okay." Elaine said, "Right on, right on." And you know, with the and I know this is what with the and I know they ain't the generational, but with today, with the generations today,
Right.
they take care of a man. Basically, I mean, and a lot of them they do it because they said I listened to a segment on the radio and they were saying that I'd rather go out and work than have him go out and work because that way I have control
Oh,
because they think they have control of the man because they do that. So some things is just habit, something or something that they
exactly.
picked up on
Exactly.
from in their generation. It had nothing to do with the previous
Right.
generation.
Well, think about the laziness today. Now, you know, us growing up, we was nowhere near lazy. Our parents made sure of it. We had to do our chores and whatever they told us to do, we had to do it. But these kids these days, it's like, I don't want to do it. And they don't do it either.
Hmm. I could attest to that now. And then people look at it and say, well, chores like it's nothing, but it's a lot because it teaches them responsibility. It starts there, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It starts in the home, so you have to make them accountable for something. Because if you don't make them accountable for nothing in the home, then they're not going to be accountable enough for nothing.
Say spoiled.
Spoiled, but it's beyond spoiled.
Exactly. It's
It's
beyond spoiled.
stupid. But you have to hold them accountable for something.
Yes.
And Tracy said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." So yeah, so everything's not a generational curse.
That's
So
right.
people like to put it on there and say, "Well,
Right.
I'm doing this because that's how I was taught."
Right. And say
And I
definitely
would say this,
not from previous generations. That's
Absolutely.
but
right.
new,
What you say?
but here's the new generational curse. Okay, why do we accept 1 month Black History?
Mm, yep, just for 1 month.
1 month. Okay, right. Okay, right. Why they get 11 months, we get one.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that we're accepting. Yeah, you're
Once
right.
again, we shall overcome.
And Elaine said exactly. Yep.
Mhm.
But that's just so that could be a generational curse because that's something that um Elaine said absolutely, and because that's something that we always accepted. You know what I mean? It's just I mean it's it is what it is, right?
Mhm. And like you said,
So
some
just a
things are
question for
habit.
you, Chuck. Like, what do you think that we can do to overcome?
You know, I'm tired of singing that song.
What do you think we can do to overcome? What I mean, that's a question for you. What are some things that you think we can do?
Get out and vote and know what you're voting for.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, D said we collab.
we celebrated a lot of different cultures, but do take the time to celebrate us.
Right, right, absolutely,
Right.
right. Hmm. Yeah. Anybody else want to come on and share their opinions? We got a few more minutes. Okay. Ooh, Natasha has a long book. All right, let me put my glasses on. Okay, she said it's not so much as blaming your parents, but more so understanding where your generational trauma comes from. I think learning how to take accountability for our actions and how they affect our own lives and those around us is the key. And then once you know. Okay, so basically, from what I'm getting what you're saying and understand what you're saying, that Tasha's saying that they're not blaming anybody on the curse on what they're going through. They just want to know basically where it came from. Like, how
Yes.
did I get where I'm at? You know what I mean?
Right. And actually, we'll kind of pick it up on the next
Right, and we're
topic.
gonna and on the next one, yeah, on the next show, we will be picking up how just basically what she was just saying. You're not blaming it, but you like to know where, like, how you get to where you came. You know
Take
what I mean?
accountability for our actions. Yeah.
And Tasha said again, like once you know better, you should do better. That's true. When you know better, you do
Absolutely.
better, right?
Absolutely.
And I think the thing of it is I think people feels better when they recognize and they see where it came from,
Exactly.
and then they could probably move forward
Right.
once they realize where it came from. Good. Anybody else want to share anything else before we close? So we're gonna close with a video, and we're gonna close with our next show. Um, Elaine said, but most of these kids do wow, huh?
Do white ones or black?
But most of the kids do white ones or black. What can you elaborate on that, Elaine? On what you were saying or what you're saying? So I understand what you can you elaborate, Elaine? All right, while you're trying to elaborate on that, go ahead. Can you you want to go ahead and announce the next
Okay, so our next podcast is going to be on May the 17th, 2023 at 7 o'clock.
okay, but don't leave yet because we got a video that I want you to see. We always want to end on something positive. And so
And
gonna
always please share, like, and follow us on Facebook.
Please.
Showing important support.
again because and thing of it is if everybody on this live can share, that would be great because again, you never know who you may be helping. You may not got no help today, but maybe sharing this live could help someone else.
Exactly.
And then especially seeing all the other podcasts that we've already done.
Right.
Let me all right, let me see. All right, so all right, let me try to do this right now. All right, moderators, let me know if y'all could see. Um, all right, so I want to do it. I think I did it right this time. Can everybody see the screen? Moderators, can you text me and let me know if you make sure that you can see this on Facebook and on YouTube? Can you text me? Because I can't see it in the comments. Um, 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 so, uh, so can y'all let me know if you guys can see the screen on Facebook and YouTube? If you can text me. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna play the.
Unfortunately, sin travels. It travels from one generation to another. We can set in motion sequences of evil that are reflected in the next generation and perpetuated by the next generation. But those traveling evils don't have to have the last say. Generational sins and curses do not have to have the final word. They can be and should be broken. How? They can be broken by a decision to move in a different direction. The Bible calls it repentance. It is a decision to move toward God rather than continuing away from God. Just as parents share their physical DNA with their children, we unfortunately share our spiritual DNA with our children. That's why you don't have to teach newborns how to lie, how to be selfish. It's kind of stitched in there from mother and father. Oh, but it can be corrected, and we do our best to correct them. But some things go deeper than that, don't they? Well, those can be corrected too. The fact that your mother and father were manipulative, were addicted to something, couldn't be trusted, and you're seeing that work out in your own life or even the lives of your children, what you're seeing is generational transfer. In the same way that the physical attributes of parents are transferred to children, unfortunately, the spiritual attributes, the negative spiritual attributes, can be transferred to children and grandchildren alike. This is why generational curses need to be broken, and they can be broken, should be broken, and ought to be broken. And they will be broken when you make a decision to repent of the sins of your father and your mother, and you decide to follow God in a different direction. You have now set in motion a different sowing and reaping process that will break the curse that may have been multi-generational transferred to you. So you don't have to sit and accept yesterday's mistakes, sins, and evil. You can say, no longer, God, because I am following you. And I'm going to watch you set a new system in motion for the salvation and transformation of me and my family. In fact, we're going to bring generational blessings where there were generational curses, because we're going to start a brand new generation with God at the head.
Amen.
Okay. So again, on May 17, 2023 at 7 o'clock. And again, like we said earlier, we're going to be doing part 2 of this. And it's basically be talking about breaking generational curses.
Just took that other comment from Elaine. She was coming back. She said when I was commenting, she was commenting on Tasha's comment. I was saying that the most of these kids in the world today blame the parents for everything, and instead of once they become adults, then it becomes their problem if they don't want to do right. That's true. And I think Chuck was saying yes to the video. Okay, so we're going to end on that note. Again, we're going to see you guys back on May 17th at 7 o'clock. We're going to continue, finish up the generational curse, and we're going to talk about how to break generational curse. Lead off from where the video left out at. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure everybody, when you exit this live, make sure you share. And we appreciate you guys, and we love you, and we thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.